Hello, everybody.
Welcome, welcome. Have a live show today. In case you didn't know, our guest speaker is a piano star, so he's giving the music to the show.
Hey, Rafa, we have started.
Oh, you guys are live.
We're live.
Oh my
We
god,
already
you
live.
should have let me know. You should have let me know. Hey everyone. I promise I didn't want to show off, but they basically forced me, so here we are.
How are you doing,
Good.
Rafa?
I'm doing great. What about you guys?
Can't
I'm
complain.
doing great as well. Yeah, enjoying your
David can
music.
play? You can play, David?
I can play the guitar only, not the
Yeah.
piano.
I'm a
We
drummer.
could have done a jam session. We should have planned it right.
Have the full band. Can
Next
anyone
time.
sing? Might be an instrumental band for sure.
Yeah, you can sing, right, Marcus?
No, I play drums.
No? I heard you sing already, or maybe it's just an extracurricular activity, no?
In the shower.
Okay, after hour singer. Great.
He's a DJ, have some pictures of him playing in Clay's headquarters. So there are a lot of evidence of that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
When are you playing for us, Marcos? He's really shy.
No, we could play some organic house for this context, like some quiet genre, some dub, maybe. We'll see.
Let's do it for next time.
Can play some drum and bass.
No, it's too much.
How's everyone doing? Where's everyone dialing in from?
Leave it in the chat. Where are you coming from? What are your expectations for today as well? We're happy to hear what are you coming to learn today. We have a great topic today. We're really excited. We have been preparing this with Rafa, so he's a close friend. We meet each other in New York as well. In
Brooklyn.
It was in Brooklyn, last year. We were really close, like one block away. It was crazy.
Yeah.
The only thing that we know about each other is that we were both Clay expert at the time, so it was awesome.
Yeah, and I was actually in New York City as well, and I saw that you guys were visiting. So I remember I messaged David, and we met at a WeWork, and then we found out that we were just a block away in Brooklyn. Yeah, that was pretty cool. It was a really fun trip with you guys.
Oh yeah, New York is awesome. It's a great city. And today we're gonna cover a really special topic. I really love signal-based outreach. That's a topic that I'm really enthusiastic, and today we have a great partner as well in this meeting. Rafa is the founder of Centrion, and you will know about Centrion really soon. If you haven't heard of Centrion before, you're gonna see a lot of value in the platform. So, are you ready to start?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. We have an expectation there in the chat. Have people from UK, India, Tunisia, Venezuela, Italy. Akil says that he's learning about custom signals and outreach personalizations. That's awesome. All right. Let's start. So, probably most of you have reached to a point in which you have been conducting any type of outbound for your company or for a client, and you will realize that if you are in the classic pray and spray, you will receive a lot of, we're not looking for this right now. We just signed up with a competitor last month. Call me in 6 months. We don't have the budget for this right now. So all these objections are related to timing. And let's be honest, we all have received any of those objections before. So that's why we're covering today how you can avoid to face these issues by reaching out to the leads in the correct timing. And the real issue isn't your list, it's the timing that you're reaching out to your list. Probably 95% of your time isn't buying right now. So if you don't know when they are buying and you reach out to them in a time that they are not buying, probably they will see any value on your offer. They will see you as an spam. They won't even try to get to know you or listen to your offer. So instead of doing that, we have a proposal for you. Each company have different buyer journey maps, of course. Each company might use different triggers. Today, we're going to cover some of them, but actually, we're going to talk about a lot of new ideas. So that's the benefit for you today. Just as a quick recap, Rafa, anytime you want to add something, Marcos as well, just do it. If you have any questions, I meant to the audience, drop it in the chat. We're happy to cover that. We discussed previously about the difference between spray and trigger-based outreach, but I think this graphic is really precise. You will understand that probably at a certain moment on when you want to reach out to people, some of them will be ready to buy, some of them won't be ready to buy. If you reach out to them with the same message to all of them, you will miss the mark because, as I told you previously, probably 95% of the audience won't be ready. So if you're reaching out to them, trying to show them something that they are not looking for, they won't see any value of fostering a conversation or giving you the possibility to start creating trust for them. But if you cover them with two different type of campaigns or two different type of proposals, you will increase your conversions in the time. So the proposal here is to, instead of trying to sell to everybody, just sell for the ones that are ready to buy, and for the other ones, try to nurture them, try to add them value, try to let them know that you exist. So that is not only related to triggers, it's also related to timing. Every industry have their own quarters that they have more demand, that they have more leads coming on. So you need to take that in mind as well once you are creating a new outreach move. And you might be asking yourself, why should I do that? Because the metrics don't lie. So let me show you some metrics here. We have been reaching out to different type of audiences across the years for ourselves, for our clients as well. And based on our experience, this is some metrics that you can understand the difference is that a hot audience is the one that probably is aware of your brand and also ready to buy. So those leads that show you a recent intent signal will show you as well higher conversion rates. So in this case, it's a campaign, a LinkedIn campaign, and you can see that the connection rate is way higher than a cold outreach in which we're targeting somebody that we created a list, but we don't know if they are aware of our brand, if they are ready to buy, if they're looking for a solution. We don't even know if they're active on LinkedIn. So if you're not trying to understand your audience and their behavior, you will miss the mark. Warm audience in this case means people that know our brand, but probably are not ready to buy it yet. But even targeting those, it's way better than targeting a cold audience. Probably people in this case, conversion, as you're asking in the chat, means connection rate for LinkedIn. Conversion in terms of LinkedIn messages is reply rate. So that's kind of the difference here. Now, we have our cases as well. We have our campaigns that we can show you later, but you get the point. If you are reaching now to people that are ready to buy a brand aware, you will get higher conversions. So in our case, we are helping in our company, in Northern RevOps, we're helping other companies to implement these workflows to actually track the stage of each lead, to actually deploying trigger-based systems like the ones that we we will see today with Centrion working. Oh, I forgot to put you the picture here, Rafa. But you know Rafa.
It's okay. I'm here. Hi, guys.
Rafa is the founder of Centrion, as I mentioned to you before. Probably if you have joined later, you missed the opportunity to hear him playing the piano before. He's a great piano player as well, as a GTM architect as well. So today, Rafa will show us some use cases of his tool on how to activate that data, how to use that data in Clay as well. As we spoke before, the promise here is that you, once we finish this workshop, you have a proven framework of how to implement this trigger-based campaign, and we're going to share as well a template for you so you can start using it. Again, why you should do that? Because your competitors are already doing that. If you're not doing that for yourself or for your clients, you are missing the opportunity. You are getting left behind. So we need to start doing this. We need to start using trigger-based outreach. This is not something that is new. We have been working in this field like for, let's say, at least 2 years, using trigger-based outreach. So that's something that is most common every day, and a lot of new companies are adopting these strategies right now. So what are your thoughts so far, Rafa, about this strategy? How do you think it resonates with what you're doing as well in your company?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I can tell like a very brief story of why we decided to start Centrion. I was running a go-to-market agency, and we were working with like different clients across different industries. And I noticed two things, right? So one thing is I noticed that even though we were using like the same proven campaigns on the same kind of leads, I noticed that across a few months, the reply rate started going down. So I remember like we had reply rates of like 20%, then it went down to 15, and then it went down to 10, and then it went down to 8, right? Over like probably the span of 6 to 8 months. And this was a generalized problem across all clients. So that was like problem number one that I identified while running an agency, was that getting to a prospect's inbox was getting harder every day, right? And we know that both Microsoft and Google, they are owners of some of the biggest large language models or AIs in the world. And so I think it's just a matter of time until they start cracking down even more on cold email at volume, and they already started cracking down a lot, right? So that's why we see a lot of agencies these days that get like 1, 2, 3, 4% reply rates, where they would get like 10, 15 just a year ago, right? So that was one of the first principles. And then the second reason why we decided to start looking into signals was because we saw that there are some kinds of offers for which reaching out to the total addressable market simply doesn't work. And one of them for us was recruitment, right? So you only need a recruiter if you're either hiring right now or you're planning to hire, right? If you are a company and you're maybe like in a cutting costs, or maybe you already hired and you have your consolidated team for the next quarter, the next year, then for a recruiter to reach out at a moment where hiring is not top of mind, it just becomes noise, right? And so that was sort of the second philosophy. And what I see, like, for example, looking here at this chart, is not only a problem of like selecting who to contact based on companies and decision makers who have shown some form of intent, but it's also like what you say, right? Because when you're building a list, you're always like sort of like reverse engineering a reason to reach out to those people, right? You're going to like enrich their LinkedIn posts, you're going to script their website because you want to be smart and you want to like actually show that you've done your research. And the good thing about signals is that not all signals, but some of them give you very valuable context that can also help you create that message, right? So a signal is something that once you've managed to orchestrate it automatically, it not only runs automatically, which is great, but it's a campaign where you don't have to like figure out a reason. I mean, you might not want to say like, oh, I'm reaching out because you're hiring, but there's context in the job description that you can use to write a message that shows what's happening inside of the company.
Yeah, that's great insight. We have been discussing a lot, but in the last month, we have been hiring a GTM engineer, and I have received like 15 different messages, and they all say something like, I know that you're hiring, I noticed that you're hiring, since you're hiring, and a lot of people that are using signals. So just to let the audience know that people are already using a lot of signals, but most of the people are using signals in the wrong way, or not using with the full power that a signal can provide you. That is what Rafa was speaking about. That is the insights behind the signal. So if you're hiring a GTM engineer, that might be an insight that you might be growing, or you have high turnover of your employees, or can be an insight that you have expansion plans, or you're actually changing your tech stack. There are a lot of insights behind the same signal. So if you're using the same signal just to reach out because that the company is investing in hiring more people, you will miss the mark. There are a lot of new opportunities here, and that's why we have Rafa here to explain some of the use cases. And what we've seen so far is that although there might be like signals that are most common used, there are a lot of other signals that are not seen as it. And we can categorize those signals in two types. From our perspective, from our methodology that we built with Marcos, we call it the revenue tornado. We always try to capture the signals based on two axes: brand awareness and readiness to buy. So the hottest leads possible are the ones that you're going to find in this quadrant. I mean, higher readiness to buy intent signals, higher brand awareness. Those leads are the ones that you're going to convert faster.
Yeah, ready and aware.
Totally. Ready and aware.
Yeah, that's the best possible lead in the world.
We all want to have those leads. But in some cases, if you don't have like a strong marketing channel to make people aware of your brand, you will struggle to find those because this line will be up here, and only the brand aware will be a small portion of the market of the time. So in that case, you need to focus on that as well.
Maybe it depends on the company you're working on. Sometimes if you're working for like an enterprise or like a leading brand on a specific industry, you could assume that the awareness is high already. So the signals by themselves are higher value than for a company that is not as known in the same vertical.
Exactly that. So brand awareness will be helping you to understand who of all the time will have a transitive trust on you or a direct trust on your company. So that will increase your conversion rate. But then there are readiness to buy signals that for each market are different. We're going to discuss today about how you can use job posts for tracking these readiness to buy signals. And based on that, if they are aware of the brand, let's say you have someone in your CRM, in your newsletter subscription, visiting your website, liking your post, that their company have just posted about a new position that they're hiring. And in the job position, they mentioned that they are looking for someone that can implement the solution that you can provide to the company. Those signals, if you are not tracking them, you're going to miss a high opportunity to convert those leads. So this is really, really important to track as well. Now, we will have as well, in the majority of the cases, companies that don't have any any brand awareness. So in those cases, we need to make them aware, and we can use those signals as excuses to make them aware of who you are. That was my dog barking, by the way. So sorry for that.
No worries. Let me add something there. You mentioned the job posting, right? So the way that the way that people use it when doing signal based outreach. And I think there's a couple of different ways that you can use it, and they will also depend on the size of your company and sort of like the go to market strategy that you have. So for example, an enterprise client, they for sure have like their whole total addressable market mapped on their CRM, and chances are that they've had like other touch points with those people. Either maybe that's like a webinar, something that was designed to create brand awareness, or even just like an SDR or someone at that company that already reached out to the company you posted a job. So for those clients, what we recommend is using the job post as a trigger and as a source of context. And the way that that works is you get, for example, the job posting entering Clay. You would do like a column that would be searching like your sequencer or your CRM to pull in the context from your relationship with that company. And then you can have basically a workflow where you send leads that are companies that you've never contacted to one side, so to one campaign, and then leads that you have contacted to another campaign. And the leads who you have contacted will go to that other campaign with both the job posting, the company, and the CRM context. So that when you're feeding all of that information into an AI agent, you can feed the previous messages that you've exchanged. So imagine this is a company and you already had a call with one of those decision makers, right? When that job comes through, you could have the CRM context being pulled in and fed into the agent and saying like, okay, the agent has the context of the call and the agent has the context of the CRM, so they can write a message like, "Hey, Mike, was great catching up like a few months ago. I trust that you guys are already like making some further investments in your sales and outbound department. I see that you're looking for someone that can help you with Clay, you know, and that's a very different email than saying like, hey, I saw that you are hiring a go-to-market engineer. We build Clay tables. Please hire us. Thank you. You know, those are two very different messages. But even if you don't know the company, you can do what is basically getting the job description and trying to infer, or even just extracting, and Centurion helps you with that, but extracting the signal out of it. And the signal, not in the way that you're going to say like, hey, I saw that you're hiring go to market engineer, but you might say like, hey, I noticed that um, you guys are investing more in your outbound infrastructure. I saw that you guys grew your sales team by 20% over the last month. That's another criteria that you can add. Or even if you don't mention that, you can just sort of like predict what kinds of problems and initiatives or things they're trying to solve for that company at that stage in that industry with that signal, you know? So the signal can be a trigger that provides you context, but it doesn't need to be your full message. It should inform the message that you're going to read to write. If that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, totally makes sense. One of the things that I usually mention to the audience is that, uh, from my perspective, I prefer to be the magician once we are creating the message. So instead of mentioning that I'm monitoring, or I know that you have made this action before, that's kind of creepy, I try to infer what is the insight and casually mention, um, companies in your stage might be looking for this. Or um, I have seen that your company might need this, but you don't mention why you take that assumption, and they will feel like you are a magician. So that's a different approach, but it's the same. You need to have the insight. If you don't have the insight, you won't be able to do it. So we have some comments here. From my experience, open jobs usually mean they are looking to hire in-house specialists, not outsourcing or outstaffing this position. What do you think about that, Rafa?
Yeah, so a few things about that. So one, that is not always true, because sometimes, for example, they might be hiring a go-to-market engineer, but they still might need help with list building. You know, like even if the person joins the company, they might be assigned to like more strategic things, and so the signal that they're hiring a go-to-market engineer tells you a few things, right? So it tells you that they're looking into automating things in their sales and marketing department. So that is one thing. The second thing, it means that they are likely a user or about to become a user of Clay. The third thing is, for example, they're hiring a go-to-market engineer for Centrion and other sales tools. That's also a signal that they would be a good fit for us, even though we're not trying to replace a go-to-market engineer, right? So it's more about asking, like, what does this tell us about what the company is focusing on today, and then what can we extract of it that allows us to write a message. uh, I don't know if we can jump to like Boris is asking, like, because I think it kind of like connects to this question. He's asking what kind of questions can we ask to dig down on the signals and not use the signal directly but infer the insights. So I'll show you in a little bit. We're gonna share I'm gonna share my screen later and show you like how Centrion works. And I think that will click a little bit more because the way that you yeah. So maybe we'll leave that for later. Yeah, and we'll show it
Yeah.
when we're doing the demo. So
Yeah, it depends a lot on what you're selling. So yeah,
yeah.
let's move
And by the way,
forward. Yeah.
just to leave a note on that, David, the best people who get best results with Centrion are the ones who can find custom signals and within job postings. We'll dive deeper into what that means in a little bit.
All right. All right. Like the challenge. So for today, we're gonna talk about outbound lead inbound campaigns. That means tracking people that don't know your brand, they don't even are aware of that you exist, and how you can identify the ones that are buying from them and let them let them know that you exist, that you can help them solve their issues. And why should you conduct like this type of campaign? We call it outbound lead inbound campaign. Um, Most of the cases, if you're reaching out to like the whole time in a brain spray motion, you're gonna reach out to people that are not ready and people that are ready to buy. In both cases, people that don't see your offer as a good fit right now, if you don't let them know that you can help them in the future, you will lose contact with them and they will block you, they will tag you as spam, and you won't be able to reach out again. So that's why it's better to actually drive with adding value to them. So in our philosophy that we created with Marcos and we are promoting is about giving first. So if you start giving value to your audience first, even if they are not ready to buy or even if they're ready to buy, they'll start seeing value in your offer and they can start a conversation that might take like a few months or a year even to close. But if you start with like a hard pitch or trying to sell them something in the early start, they will block you. So that's why we call it outbound and inbound, because once we send an outbound campaign, we try to convert them into an inbound lead. And that will increase the lead quality, that will increase the conversion rate, and it will decrease the cost of acquisition over time. So today, we're going to cover two use cases that Rafa created and wanted to show you on Centrion, how you can find tech stack changes initiatives, and how you can use Centrion as well to find first GTM hire for new companies. So you can target, as we were speaking, companies that might need an agency. Of course, many of you have heard of Clay or are using Clay, so I'm just gonna run this really quickly. In Clay, you can source data like the data that we're gonna work together in Centrion today. And then in Clay, you can enrich it further to capture contact data, to capture any type of other signal that might be needed for you to qualify a lead or a company. You can process all that and send it to a sequencer tool or send it to the CRM. But for this type of campaigns, we actually need better coverage in terms of signals, because readiness to buy is a really important way of understanding the market. And you might find that for your own industry, you might have like 10 different signals that will indicate readiness to buy. If you're just relying on, let's say, Clay job post, that is one signal that you can use, you can capture, let's say, 20% of the signals or 10% of the signals, and you are missing 80% of those new hot leads that are ready to buy right now, and you're missing the mark here. So that's why you need to increase the coverage, and that's why we have Rafa here, because Centurion is one of the tools that can increase you the coverage for job posts. One of the best tools in the market. And with better tools, you have more signals. With better insight of the market, you have more signals. And of course, with automated system, you can reach out to leads on time, not waiting until 10 days happen since the signals. So you need to reach out in the same time. Now let's talk about Centurion. Why we suggest to use Centurion in this case? Because Centurion is one of the biggest. Um, I would trust and say it's the biggest job post database aggregator.
Yes, we are the biggest out of everyone we've tested. So if there's a
Yeah.
player that just joined the market, I don't know. But last time I checked, that was the case. So.
Yeah, and that's why we think that Centurion is a great solution for you to increase the brand awareness signals that you can capture at a certain moment in time. And by increasing that, you will be able to reach out to those leads on time. And there are many signals. I just dropped here some ideas, expansion plans, tech stack changes, operational pain. Let's say a company is hiring for a new COO, and the description they mentioned that you need to have skills into maintaining or solving any type of issues. Strategic shift or product launches as well are related to some jobs. So if they're hiring for a new product owner or a new CMO, probably they are about to release something. Or so there are many
Yeah.
signals in here. I just dropped some ideas. I'm missing something, Rafa, here.
Yeah, no, I mean, all of these ones are perfect fits for Centrion. And for example, what you've mentioned, like a product launch, that's something that we look like that our tool maps out and does that search. And the cool thing about it is that job postings are what we call a predictive signal, because companies they reveal their initiatives, they reveal their priorities, and they reveal a lot of information before they announce it to the public. So, for example, I've had a call recently with a lead that we had, and I went into their job postings and I did an analysis using our system, and I discovered that they're probably like 6 to 12 months from an IPO because they just posted like 2 weeks ago like a CFO job or something related to finance, and within the job description they had like go over the company books to prepare for a potential public transition. They had a quote like this, and I went on the internet and there was no one talking about an IPO for this company, right? There was people asking like, oh, I wonder when this company is going to go public, but there was no news, there was no announcement, there was no nothing publicly that you could figure that out. And so the same thing goes. So for example, for you, if your business, if a company being an IPO or doing an IPO is a signal for you, you probably want to reach out before, because as soon as they IPO, everyone else in the market is going to reach out. And the same thing goes for product launches. For example, if you're selling a marketing product, or even if you're selling GTM and you're helping these companies go to market, you want to show up before they launch the product, right? Because that's the right timing for you. And the same thing goes, for example, for a campaign that I'm going to show here, in which we're looking for the first go-to-market and sales hires. And so, for example, for Centrion, that's also a perfect signal because we work with a lot of early stage go-to-market teams at startups. And so when they're building out their first go-to-market motion, that's the perfect timing for us. So,
Yeah, those signals are great. One of the things that I think is the coolest feature that you have so far is the AI qualification of signals. So it's not only that you can capture the signals by using keywords, they have an AI behind it reading all the job posts and letting you know if this signal match your company need of a trigger. So if you're looking for product launches, it would read out the job description, I will let you know and assign different scores based on that. So yeah, that's yeah, it's Rafa time. It's Rafa time.
Awesome. Okay, let's go. Let me share my screen. Okay, should be this one. Okay, 1 second. All right. Can you guys see it?
Not yet.
Second, I think I'm having technical difficulties because it's not. Yeah, I think let me just do a refresh, guys. Okay, is that okay, David?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, because I can click the button.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
He's kind of preparing his tricks.
Awesome. Nice. Do you see it?
Yep.
Can you see it? Okay. Awesome. Cool. So as we were discussing, this is the first campaign, right? That we're going to show here today. And what this campaign is doing is I typed here companies making their first sales and go to market hires. And what this did is our AI generated a different filters for jobs. So it's basically looking for job titles such as founding sales, sales lead, founding BDR, and it's also looking for any jobs that contain these keywords in the job description. So revenue from zero, early stage sales, build GTM, GTM from scratch. Then we're also looking within the sales and BD department. We're looking for jobs posted in the United States, and we're looking for companies between 1 and 200 employees within the software development industry, because that's our ICP. So that's, pretty generic. But then
that's impressive. I mean, you just prompted companies making their first GTM hires and the platform fill out everything for you. So that's a major speed up in the process. I hate to fill out forms, so this is great.
yeah. No, we try to make it easy. And we're also like shipping a lot of different things across the next few months. They're just gonna like even make the, like one of the things that we talk a lot internally is about increasing the signal to noise, because not all jobs that mention like startup sales are going to be like the first go to market hires, right? But it might be that, for example, out of all jobs mentioning that, for example, 7 or 6 have the exact intent that you're looking for, right? So we're also like working on ways to make that even more accurate. But just looking at the platform, the next thing that we have here that is really important, and David was mentioning it earlier, is the AI signal scoring. And what this does is it solves the exact same problem that we just discussed, where, for example, a keyword or, for example, 2 words, which we would consider one keyword, would be present in 2 jobs, but in one job it would be a perfect match for what you're looking for, and in the other it could be like not a fit, or it could just be something different. So what we do here is we have include criteria. And what this means is that every single job is being evaluated against these criteria. And so if we go here in the signals tab, which right now are jobs, you can see that every single one of these roles is being tested against those criteria. So for example, we see here, job mentions first sales hire, founding sales team, or building sales from scratch. And we see that it explicitly, this one's pretty easy because it's literally in the job title. But maybe we can find one here. Okay, head of sales. The job explicitly states that the candidate will be the first sales hire, indicating a foundational role in building the sales team. Awesome. So then if we go down, we start seeing like other jobs where they might, for example, like fill 3 of the criteria. But for example, this one, they didn't mention like establishing playbooks or GTM strategy, right? But it was the first sales hire. So we have different ways of working with the data. And then what you can do is you'll see that, for example, jobs that only have one of these checkbox will be below the like, for example, the score like 3, right? So whenever you're exporting this data to Clay in the automations tab, there's something here called the signal threshold, right? So you can say that you only want to get jobs on Clay that are above 2 points in the signal, right? In the score threshold. So then basically what you're doing is you're making sure that you're only exporting to Clay the companies and the jobs that actually have an intent. So that's pretty much the companies, the signals. Then We also allow you to find decision makers. You can see here, like we can find all of the different decision makers. We can find emails and phone numbers as well. Basically, the back end of this is a waterfall enrichment as well. And something that we're doing here is we do not only waterfall based on like whichever contact database has coverage. We do it based on contact freshness. So basically, which database latest scraped this person's profile, right? Because sometimes with people data, you'll find a decision maker and the person left the company like 1 or 2 months ago. So that's something that we check with the providers that allow us to do that, and then we move on to the other ones. So yeah, then basically you can come in here, you can set an auto update, which means that every day this search is going to be running, and you can send the data directly to Clay.
So then you have a trigger that can send you new leads into a table in which you can then send it back to any outreach platform. So just imagine the opportunity here behind that is having an evergreen system capturing signals for you and sending those hot leads into a sequence, and forgetting about finding new leads every month, finding how to target, finding signals, researching the company. You can automate the whole process and just sit down and wait for the results. That's amazing. That's a dream. That's a dream.
Exactly. And the reality is that the job posting signal, it's a signal that it's, for example, if you're a smaller company and you don't have like a lot of relationships with different people, it's very easy because you just get a job, you find a new company, you find a new decision maker, and then you send the message. But what happens like after a few months, once you've already contacted that person, but then you get another job posting for the same company, right? You want to be sending the same message again. So we have some more complex workflows that I'm not going to show here, like for the sake of simplicity, but we're going to release a video on that soon. Where basically we're building a context engine where we're always knowing, and that's, I mean, we sort of explained it a little bit before when we talked about the CRM, right? So that's one of the ways that we can already do that within Clay. So that if we get another job posting for the same company, and let's say the head of sales would be the same decision maker, we can reach out to them again and use the job post as a trigger, but not repeat the same message because that's spammy and because, of course, there's already a relationship in place and that would look kind of silly. So that's something that we're also like making much easier on the platform over the next few months. And basically, the vision for Centrion is so that whenever you want to find a company who's making certain investments in certain initiatives, or like having different pain points and mentioning different technologies, you can just come in here and you can just run this playbook automatically over time and not worry about it. So
Yeah, that's great. Can we go on in the
yeah, let's
next playbook that is, tech stack?
yeah. So basically, this one. Yeah, this is not the tech stack one, but I'll show this one really quick because it's pretty interesting. This one, I wanted to find product managers that are being hired to build internal tooling with AI and fast prototypes and MVPs for internal use. So this was basically for a like a no code automation company, and this was their ICP. So they wanted to find companies who were doing those kinds of initiatives. And for example, here we can open the company profile, which I actually didn't open before. And we always have this insights here. And basically, this is generated from all the different job postings that we found for that company. In this case, this company, we just found one. But this is usually like a AI generated snippet that you can feed into your messaging that will be analyzed on the full company's hiring activity that was captured by your campaign, right? So that gives you more context so that you can write a more relevant and personalized message, essentially. The same again, you can see, like, for example, is this a B2B SaaS? Role involves building internal tools. Job mentions AI machine learning integration or AI powered tools. Position mentions rapid prototyping or MVP development. So we have all this information here. We can fit it into our prompts and then just be more relevant and just write a better message.
That's great. Is there any question from the audience? Are you understanding how the platform works. I mean, you just need to fill out a prompt and it will automatically create all the filters. But then you can customize the filters as well. If you don't like the filters setup, you can change anything in there in Sentry, and you will be able to run that and connect it to Clay or to any tool like CRM and so on. We have a question actually. Let me check. Andres is asking, how do you see the quantity and quality of signals in LATAM? Imagine that if we move to the US or Europe, that changed considerably. Okay.
Yeah. So right now we're actually working on a feature that allows you to like get like all of the data that we have for like a specific time range and the search before you get the jobs. Because like we're working with the data in a lot of different ways. So before we do a search, there's not really a very reliable way for us to know like how many companies and signals we'll have within that market, because there's a lot of different things. There's company sizes, company industries. There's like 230 job boards. So the way that it works is after the first search, like for example, you get like 50 companies, we'll be able to tell you like there's another like 10,000 companies like this that you can pull into the campaign for the last 6 months of job postings. So that's actually something that is not right now in the platform, but it's something that we're bringing in the next few weeks.
Awesome. Awesome. Can we have you set it up to connect to Clay?
Yeah.
Because we have
Yeah.
a question here about Alex. How about Clay masterclass? Okay, yeah, we're talking about connection to Clay as well. Don't
Yeah,
worry, Alex.
I'll show you how this connects to Clay. So basically here we set up the webhooks and we give you the possibility to use company, jobs and people webhooks. And the reason for that is that then you can get creative on how you use the data. But the most simple one is to just send the signals or the jobs to a table. And then I'll show you what that looks like. So basically this is the first table. And this table is just a source of like a record for us. You could actually do the same thing, but we're just sending this to another table here. And within this new table, what we're doing is we're getting the job data, and then we are going and finding the different decision makers. Here in this one, what I'm doing is we're using like a Collegian to find decision makers. And then we verify if the people actually work at those companies. Then we find a second person. We verify if they work at those companies. We find a third person. We verify that they work again as well. And then we send them to a third table where we then get all the different decision makers in each row. And this one was for recruiting clients. So here they were actually like referencing the job posting on the email, because that's the reason why they were reaching out. And so what they're doing here is they're generating some simplified titles so that it looks and reads better in the job posting. So they can say like, hey, I saw you're hiring a product manager, instead of saying like, oh, I saw that you're hiring a product manager America's enterprise market, which
It's
obviously
title
looks,
normalization.
yeah, normalization, which looks like you're using a variable. Then here we're generating a job summary, and then here we're basically like coming up with different snippets that will then be used inside of the copy.
Can you
Then we're
show us
basic.
some snippets?
You mean the prompt?
Yeah, no, I mean the results.
Yeah, this one. So this one, it's basically saying like, with experience in safety critical embedded systems and avionics integrations. So basically, this is it's like kind of like a more flexible variable that recruiters can say like, hi, like I saw you're looking for someone with experience in safety critical embedded systems and avionics integration, or sometimes recruiters they might say that they already have a candidate. Just like the way the GTM people say that they already have a list when they're pitching for for like a lead magnet offer. So that's a couple of the different ways that they can do this. And then the other way is basically generating a profile of a candidate, basically a summary of the candidate that the company is looking for. So this is it's a more of a recruitment use case, but I thought it was the best one where we could show like sort of like different data points extracted from the same job post. So, I mean, here you can get creative. You can then feed more of the company's context. You can feed the other job postings of the company. You can make the prompt a little bit smarter and like understanding what's happening there, and then like sort of like drafting the different paragraphs of your message with different contexts, and of course, depending on like your offer, then you're gonna want to both change the signal and also the message for that. So yeah, pretty much then we're finding the email, we're verifying it for catch. Here we're verifying with Rion, which is what we use to do as SMTP verification, and then we're doing catch-all with Bounceman, and then we're pushing it to Bison or to whatever instantly smart
The
lead or
sequencer
whatever
tool.
tool,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to use.
So you capture those signals, you enrich it, and then you send it to Bison with a copy already created and personalized to each lead. Is that right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah. For example, I can show you that campaign, but for example, the one that we do for us is we find like the early go to market hires. So like companies who, or like they're maybe doing their first sales hires as well, or their new account executives. And what we pitch them is like sort of what would be a sample of what Centrion would do for them, right? So our product is very flexible in the sense that there's all kinds of job postings for any department, and different companies mention different things in them. So we have AI understand what our client does, and then based on what they do, we give our prompt knowledge of what Centrion does and what Centrion's possibilities are. And then Centrion picks the use case that would be better for that company. And then we lead with that, saying like, hey, what if you could find companies who are investing in AI agents this week? You know, and so that's for example one of the ways that we use this. That's different from, you know, sort of like referencing the actual signal on the message. And so the difference between those and reaching out to anyone is that for those leads we do more touch points. So we'd send them to LinkedIn as well, we put them on a longer follow-up sequence, and now we're actually working on setting up SMS as well.
Awesome. That's a great use case. And just to recap here, this is an evergreen playbook. So that's something that once you set it up, you can then start focusing on just improving the prompt, improving the enrichment, changing the sequence, changing the scope or the qualification process. But after a while, you will let it know that it will run, and you will start seeing better results over time. Of course, any campaign need to get like an update, like in 2 or 3
Yeah.
months or per quarter. It's needed to update the campaign, but you will save a lot of hours into that. So
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, we're working on making the platform, you know, like handle more of these things independently, so that people don't have to like context switch and work with a lot of different tools. I think at the end, like we're always going to be connected to Clay, because I think even for like especially bigger companies that they want to like orchestrate the leads in different ways, it's always going to be necessary. But we are working on having like this full flow independent within the platforms. Pretty soon that should be the case, and it should make things a bit easier.
that's awesome. I'm gonna share with you here the next step for you guys if you want to start testing Centrion. Rafa extended for us um, the offer that if you sign up for Centrion, he will give you away 500 credits, so you can test it out and you can see the results your own. If you click on that link or in the link that Rafa sent it to you, then you just need to send a message on the intercom, so he gives you the credits.
Yeah, actually, we changed it so that like everyone that joins for the next hour will get the 500 credits. So, but
Right, you make it special. Awesome.
if for some reason you need a little bit more credits to test, or maybe you do a couple of mistakes, because Centrion's a little bit like Clay. Sometimes it's easy to spend a little bit more credits than you wished. So you can always send us a message on intercom, and we'll always be happy to help.
Yeah, that's great. Apart from that, I'm gonna share with you a clay template that we created. So we use it for Centrion as well, and a video of how to use it. If you have any other template to share, Rafa, people want to have it. So just send it my way, and I'm gonna deliver after the meeting with to everybody. So test the
Awesome.
tool, try to check out the results of that, and you will understand that after a while, once you set up that evergreens process, you will save a lot of time. If you want to keep up into learning this and you have any further questions, we have a Slack community as well. You can join by clicking on the link there. And we're gonna be happy as well to help you out on how to use Centrion. Just as a quick recap as well, with Marcos, we're helping a lot of companies to implement different tools, different GTM motions, as the one that Rafa showed us today. We can help you implement Sentry for your company as well. So we're gonna stand for you as well if you want to run an audit of your current process and how you can start integrating any tool or any modern tool into your GTM and RevOps and upgrade your GTM infrastructure. You can book a strategy call with us. This is another link here that you can use to book a call. I know that there's a lot of CDAs, but if you have any interest on any, you just can let us know as well after the workshop. So, any questions so far? We have 3 minutes to cover any last question. All
Thanks,
right.
Marcus. Good to see you, man.
See you, Marcos.
Bye.
Enjoy the wild.
Alex, so we have like Alex is asking what the prices are. We have different pricings for like public. We have also like different pricings for agencies. So tell us the volume that you're looking for, and we'll find the best package for you guys. But the first plan starts at $99, so pretty affordable for the data that we're giving you guys. And we have like more than 230 job boards and millions of career pages. So our data is also less competitive than, for example, using a LinkedIn job posting data set that everyone's reaching out to. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
regarding the coverage. Again, if you want to have more signals, if you want to know how the market is behaving, you need to be able to track all the market. And right now you can do it. So if it is in your budget, if it is in your scope to start targeting those highly qualified and hotter leads, as Center, there are many other tools that can help you find signals. But if job post is one of the hotter signals for you, I'm pretty sure that you will find like a positive ROI in the short term. So if you don't have any other question, I would like to keep listening to Rafa piano music.
I think I'm good. That will be a special a special gift for those who were here early. It's I already did enough enough. Yeah, because I'm really not that good at piano. It's just you do like the piano tutorial and you learn the chord progression, and then you can impress people. That's as far as it goes.
All right, all right.
But yeah,
Thank you, everybody. We really enjoyed the time together. Thank you, Rafa, for staying here, showing out your platform and everything that we chat today.
of course.
We're gonna send you the recording to everybody that was part of this workshop and the templates that we already mentioned before. Stay tuned because in 2 weeks we had 2 weeks, I think, or yeah, in 2 weeks we had another workshop coming. So you're gonna receive an invitation pretty soon. Okay,
Awesome.
thank you, Rafa.
Thank you so much for the
See
invite.
you.
If you guys need anything, just reach out to me. Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.